Alright guys, this is SonicSol here. This time, I want to do something that was requested by a lot of viewers. I wanted to make a tutorial after about a year of playing this character. This counts both betas that happened last year, all the tournament experience I've been in. I am like 81% win rate on PS4, and I'm deity 31 on PC, which is highly competitive. 74% win rate. I win 3/4 of my games online, and I've topped many tournaments and have won one major. So I think I know what I'm talking about with this character. I have enough credibility at this point to explain to you in full detail how to play this character. A lot of stuff will be similar to what I talked about 1 year ago in the first beta for DNF Duel. So you can check that tutorial out if you haven't already, because a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be very small, and I'm going to cover some new stuff now, especially with the patch. Also, there will be a follow-up video, which will also talk about her combos, but this video will be a primer of how to play Striker. If you want videos like this, more tutorial videos like this, please sub to my channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload DNF content, Street Fighter 6 content, whatever fighting game content you're into. Alright? But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the tutorial. Striker is a character in this game that is very different from a lot of other characters in the sense that she doesn't have very long limbs. Even if we take a character like Dragon Knight that we see here, the limbs that go really far and are disjointed, right? So a limb like that. Most characters got like half screen buttons and stuff. Hitman or Vanguard, they've got pretty much almost full screen buttons. But Striker, on the other hand, does not have that. A lot of her buttons don't go very far, if at all. They mostly maintain around the mid-range where her buttons will land. The only furthest reaching button she's really got is like 6S, if we count the ground. So this is like the only button she's really got that reaches about half screen. If we were to go to full screen here, 6S goes to about 2/4 screen, maybe a little less than 2/4 screen, so not even that far, about a character space away. So if we were to do round start, it would hit, right? Her furthest reaching attack is her 6th skill, the mountain pusher. She's not gonna have a lot of range compared to other characters, so she's primarily a character that wants to be in your face, if you could tell that. So they couple this with the fact that she also has really good movement speed, probably one of the best in the game. She benefits a lot from guard stopping. Like if you run, your character usually has a lot of momentum, but then they have an animation where they stop running. But if you press the guard button, you will block immediately and stop in place. And for Striker, she benefits from this a lot because she has quick movement and she can stop on a dime with this technique. Everybody could do this, it's not just Striker, but she benefits the most because she has one of the fastest movement speeds in the game. If you're a person that complains about DNF Duel being very slow, this character is for you if you really like to have that fast movement. When it comes to her key normals, 6S, 2B is a very good button that low profiles against a lot of buttons. So for example, we have Dragon Knight here, her 5AA is disjointed. A lot of my buttons are not going to be able to deal with this. See, I'm not even going to be able to whiff punish this. See, I'm not hitting it. So it's preemptive, it's not reactionary. See? But if you're in a further range, you could be reactionary. It's very stubby compared. See that? So you kind of have to like guess with this button on attacks that are disjointed, that you can't easily whiff punish, right? You have to use this button to low profile those attacks. It can also be used as a way to trip guard people. Tripping means like if somebody jumps in with a button, right? What you can do is something like this to punish the landing recovery, like that. See, you can dash under jump-ins and then do 2B, but it's very, very difficult. Most jump-ins in the game, right, you could trip guard, right? DK, a good DK player will do it like low to the ground, but the idea here is that you're tripping the landing recovery with this normal. So that's primarily where you use it. You use it in the neutral on the ground, and also sometimes when people jump in with buttons against your character. 6S, like I said before, is another button that advances far forward, and it's good at whiff punishing a lot of like lunging attacks or attacks that have a lot of recovery. And it's very hard for Striker's buttons to kind of like punish this normal effectively. See that? Like, it's very difficult for me. It's very difficult. But, and even if, you see, even if she whiffs, I can't even whiff punish it. But, if I use 6S, I will reach to punish her in time. See? So I can punish her, right? 6S is really good for normals like that. Normals that are really long range but have a lot of recovery to them. And from here, you can get conversion started. Like, from that range, I could get my conversion started from 5ms, right? So, and that's also like a buff, which we'll talk about later, but that's the idea, is you use this button to whiff punish a lot of long range buttons because she advances forward. Same thing with the fact that 6S is Kara cancelable. See? That's a punish. You see that? So, in some cases, you can whiff punish using the Kara cancel of 6S, and as a result, like, you'll extend the range of that normal and be able to punish people. See? So, that's the use of 6S. 6S is primarily your main, like, whiff punish tool, and you can also Kara cancel with it, right, into all of your MS skills. These are your two primary buttons in the neutral that you have to be really using. 5B is also really good too, but 5B doesn't go very far, right? 5B doesn't go very far. You have to run with it to punish people. And so this is kind of risky, right? That's also kind of risky. But again, because you have the movement speed with Striker, it is easier to see a button that whiffs and then punish it, right? And this is a fast enough medium to where you can get a combo from it, right? So that is primarily the main normals you use on the ground with Striker in order to play the neutral. The other thing that you have is the dive kick. It's literally the star of the show. It's one of the main things that she's going to do to punish a lot of normals and get the largest amount of reward. The opponent will see that you're using 6S a lot, or 2B, to kind of approach them. So they will do a low profile normal to attack those two options rules. And Dragon Knight's 2B is not that good. It's not that good. It's very slow. But even then, like, it beats this cleanly. It beats this cleanly. So, same thing if I do 2B. 2B will lose to this if I throw it out, right? And it has also a lot of recovery on whiff. So, these two things, like, they're going to use their low profile normal to hit you, right? So, that's where dive kick comes in. When they're focused too much on your approach on the ground, they're going to try to stop it, right, with one of these two tools. And so as a result, you dive kick them, and then you get a big combo, right? You get a big combo, and you put them into a setup, etc., right? So that's where the dive kick comes in. People are not just randomly throwing out dive kick. A lot of her tools get blown up. Like even Dash 5B. Dash 5B gets blown up by 2B. See? Like, it will get blown up. So, that is where the dive kick comes in. To get people who are focused so hard on your main approaches on the ground. It's supposed to stop them from worrying about that stuff and start worrying more about the dive kick. And then that is where people like Dragon Knight will start doing JS, right? They'll start doing JS, or they'll call the Dragon. Vanguard will start doing 5B to anti-air you. Same thing with Berserker, Frenzy 5B. They'll start doing that to stop your dive kick, right? So various characters have counterplay against the dive kick in order to stop you. See? See? We either trade or he beats me. So it's very difficult, right? So that's how they'll stop the dive kick. Things like that. Some characters even have moves that just completely cover the screen. Like Dragon Knight was one of them. So you cannot just throw this willy-nilly in a lot of different matchups. It requires a lot of conditioning and a lot of play within the neutral, right? Like I said, every character has like a 2B that will low profile a lot of your tools, right? Like this. Every character has something like that. And then the counterplay is to do dive kick. Of course, if you're advanced, you don't need to rely on dive kick, right? You don't need to do dive kick. Instead, you could wait and whiff punish. So you could wait and whiff punish. So you don't have to dive kick. But generally speaking, like, the dive kick lets you cover the mid-range in places where you think they'll do 2B, right? In the mid-range, they'll try to do 2B to stop your approach. So that's why you have to dive kick. That's generally the rock, paper, scissors element, right? They think you do this, they'll punish that, then you do this. As far as her MS skills go, this still applies, right? Like 6MS has projectile invincibility. I think it's frame 4, it has projectile invincibility. It's not projectile invincible frame 1. Any projectile you see on the screen, anything you see on the screen, you can go through it. 6S, you got a counter hit confirm. You got a counter hit confirm with shoulder, right? If you're like full screen and you see them throw a fireball, you can card cancel 6S into the shoulder. See that? This goes for a lot of projectiles in the game. That's why she's one of the better characters, because she's one of the few characters that have projectile invincibility. Any projectile that you see, you should be 6MSing it. If you can, right? You should react and see it. So it's a very core part of punishing people from trying to zone striker and forcing them to play her game, which is the mid-range, playing the mid-range, playing the footsie game. I guess a good example of this character is like somebody like Cammy in Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, Cammy has the same thing where she does spiral arrow to go through projectiles, EX spiral arrow, and she tries to get you to play on the ground by using like really good grounded normals, like her stand medium kick or her crouching medium kick, and then when you least expect it, she dive kicks you when you're concentrating on those tools. Her 6MS is like Cammy's spiral arrow, where it goes through projectiles. The other special move that she has that's really good, this -3 on block low that she could Kara cancel from 6S, which is her Shadowless kick. And they buffed the Shadowless kick as well to where on hit it's jump cancelable, which means that you can get a combo from it, right? So in neutral, you could do 6S into this move. On block, they have to consider you doing this move, which is a standing low, right? She doesn't really have an overhead that she can really like mix up with until she gets conversion. When she has conversion, then she can do instant overhead, right? It would look something like this, right? It would be an instant overhead. And she can do this off of a lot of different situations, but the idea here is she'll sometimes do this as a low, and if she has gray life, she'll do the instant overhead as a high. That's one part of the mix-up, but that's not something she's gonna do all the time. Generally speaking, this is combo filler and sometimes used in a mix-up, but generally speaking, that's what that move is used for. 4MS is another great special move that you can use in order to apply pressure. They buffed this so that way it is dash cancelable. This move primarily whittles down the guard bar, and it's important that it was dash cancelable now, because this means that, let's say for instance the opponent rolls or DPs, right? This is a true block string now. And basically what this character is known for doing is guard breaking. Now, they did nerf the DP into jump MS to be rollable or DPable, which means you can punish her, right? So, to give her something back, they gave her 1-inch punch, right? Let's say I meaty somebody with this 1-inch punch. This is a primary, like, meaty that you would do. You would juggle off of the dive kick Oki into 2A, and then do the 1-inch punch. And that's a good way of resetting into it. That is usually what you want to do as striker whenever you land, like, a confirm. This is where you would primarily use 1-inch punch to stack on guard bar pressure. The opponent can roll out of this. The opponent can DP this. They have to time it. So you see, like, you could still roll out of it, you could still DP it, but you have to time the roll or the DP as the defender. If I mash, I'm gonna get hit. Like, if I mash, it's gonna give me my air MS. See? And then you get hit. So you must time it. You have to time it. And so a lot of people get tripped up by that, and they get hit. And that's why usually it's a guaranteed meaty, because they don't know. And I still don't expect people to know that even after I make this video. So yeah, that is a very good setup. And like I said, she could dash after this. You do not want to guard cancel this. If you guard cancel this, what will happen is you could the striker player can dash and then block after. And then she gets to bombo you, right? So Generally speaking, this is not where you want to guard cancel. She will block it. You will die. You will literally die. So, yeah, same thing with the dive kick. You don't want to guard cancel this. If you're the striker player, bro, like, kill them for that. That's what the usage of 1-inch punch is known for now, to set up guard break pressure. Because, again, they nerfed this. They nerfed that, so you could DP or roll in between the string. Now, speaking of the DP, right, she can cancel her DP, but it has a gap on both 1-inch punch and on air Tatsu. See, it has a gap on both of these. So most of this is just knowledge check, right? It doesn't have a gap on this, but this is -3. That's -3. So they could take their turn after. And a character like Striker, who has very fast buttons, like Striker has 5A and 2A, both 5 frames and 6 frames respectively. They are the fastest lights in the game. So best believe she's going to take her turn. Best believe she will take her turn, right? Most other characters will probably take their turn after 5MS, right? Unless they have a 10 frame button, which is gone now. Most characters don't have 10 frame lights anymore. So she's not going to be able to just steal her turn away like she used to. While her DP is cancelable, none of it is real. None of this stuff is real. This one right here, this cancel, is also -8. This is -8 on block. See? So it's a universal punish that it's -8 on block. So every character gets a punish on the shoulder. The main thing that you have to worry about as a defender, you have to worry about whether or not she will frame trap into another special. She has the ability to cancel specials into specials and rebeat all of her normals. See that? She gets a combo after. All because you tried to take your turn back, right? She could delay her special cancel and frame trap you. And Striker, like I said, has the fastest jab in the game. Same thing if you did shoulder, you can frame trap into 5MS. And because it's jump cancelable, you get a combo now. But let's say you weren't ready for the hit, you can always just link 5A. See that? Then you get a combo, right? Basically, she can cancel specials into specials. Even though you're punishable, you can always have the mind game of whether or not you will cancel special to special. This is also important when someone tries to guard cancel, you can DP their guard cancel. See that? Like on reaction. See that? That's pretty much all of her specials in a nutshell. I guess we could talk more about rebeat now. So I'm going to give you like a sample block string that you can do, that I do often. If you can look at my inputs on the right, you'll see what it is. But I'll tell you what it is after I finish doing it. So I have Ghostblade here set to do 2A. There's a common block string you could do on a majority of characters. Not all, but a majority. See? This block string is very good because it whittles down a good portion of their guard bar, and it leaves Striker relatively safe and far away to react to what the opponent might do in that range, and then whiff punish them. The block string basically goes like this. It goes dive kick into rebeat 5A, then you could do 2A, right? 2A, 5B, 5C, 5S. And then you press S again. She has a 5SS attack. Then you do 4S, right? 4S. Then you do 6S. Then you do 2S, but 2S is unsafe. So you have to rebeat. You have to rebeat. So you go back to 2B. Then you finish with 5A. You rebeat back to 5A. And what will happen is you will be spaced outside of the opponent's effective range. You see how his 2A whiffs when I stand? If I crouch, I'll block it. See? But if I stand, it whiffs. So you know what that means, right? with punish. See that? He just lost half life for whiffing a 2A. That's like footsies. And that's like knowing proper spacing from your block strings. That's the purpose of rebeating. If you've played Melty Blood, type Lumina. If you played any Melty Blood game or Under Night Inbirth, it's the same concept. You want to rebeat back to your light normal so you have the least amount of recovery. So when they whiff something outside of your range, you will punish them. This is quite important. It tacks down the guard bar, right? And it allows you to maintain good range against your opponent to punish whatever they might do. Especially when you have them in the corner, this is fully important to know because this means you have them boxed in while they're taking guard bar damage. This also works mid-screen as well since you're going to apply guard bar pressure and it sends them closer to the corner. See? This also works from mid-screen. You want to know this block string. That's basically what I'm telling you. You can also do it with 5A. You can start with 5A instead of 2A if it's easier for you. But you could get punished by certain characters. Ghostblade's one of them. His light reaches far enough to punish you. So that's why you have to alternate between which one you start with per character. And that's one thing that you also have to realize. Strings that you do with Striker, both combos and block strings, are relative to each character. The same string I showed you that you could start with either 2A or 5A. 5A, right, like has less pushback than 2A. So just understand that 5A, you know how this button had less pushback so I could get punished by Ghostblade, right? If I start with 5A here, this happens. The 5A had even less pushback than the 2A, and I'm still getting punished on my slide with reversal DP. Berserker, Swiftmaster, and Striker are the three characters that could do this consistently. Even if I do 2A, what will happen is 2A has more pushback, right? I'm not even going to be able to get this block string past 4S. See? But if he could DP, that means he could roll. But this is not for every character. And that's one thing you have to understand about Striker. She has different block strings per character, but a majority of her block strings work on the majority of the cast. So you have to know about specific block strings per character. And as a result, that also means that her block strings can vary and free flow in ways that many other characters can't. So I would do something like this. Right? I would cut my block string short to prevent myself from getting DP'd like this. You can also do a block string like this to make the 2A connect on block. So you have to kind of like change your pressure up a bit. And this also goes into structuring frame traps too. So for example, I have Inquisitor set to do 2A. So this is the block string. That's a frame trap. See that? This is a 5-frame gap. So they can't press a button after this. And if you react to this and you know this, then you could get a big punish on counter hit. See? So you get a big punish on counter hit for this frame trap. And anybody that doesn't have a 5-framer loses here. If your character has a 5-framer, so Striker is like one of the few characters with a 5-framer in the game, which is the fastest button in the game, like I said before. We trade, right? We trade, because it's a 5-frame gap. But you still get a combo. See that? You still get a full combo. So, this frame trap is very deadly because nobody could really challenge it like that. They have to DP. They have to roll or DP because both of those options are frame 1. So let's say they want to roll out, right? Sometimes you could do something like this and then punish the roll. See that? So sometimes you want to wait. You don't want a frame trap and see what they do. And around this range, when you get pushed back, somebody will whiff something and then you punish them, right? It's all RPS. And the biggest thing about it too is if they do nothing, You can even run up and do it. See? So, it's all strike throw. All of it is strike throw. And when you use rebeat, it makes the opponent less likely to want to press a button, which means that you can crank up that guard bar even more. If you're going to try to approach the opponent, you don't want your buttons to whiff. You don't want them to whiff. They have way too much recovery. See, I'm holding up. You see how these buttons whiff? If I rebeat, then I negate that recovery. But the button has to connect on block. So you can use rebeat to make it safe and not punishable. Because these buttons are punishable on block and on whiff, for the reason of you being able to rebeat cancel them. So just keep that in mind. They are immensely punishable. See? This is immensely punishable. Immensely punishable. That we're talking 6S, which is like double-digit startup. That's punishable. This, punishable if not spaced. Another thing that's important, understanding the rebeat using 5S. The reason why you want to know how to use 5S in your rebeat too is because 5S is her only disjointed normal. It advances her forward, and it's good at stopping other disjointed buttons. I'll even try 5A. See, we trade, right? We trade. And this is because Hitman's 5A is partially disjointed. You see this? You see this blue box? Normal is disjointed if there's nothing but red. You see that? Near the tip of the sword. So you see how this section is where his hitbox is? The spacing, it makes it very difficult to punish this normal if he abares it. See, it's going to make it very difficult for me to hit this normal. See, we'll trade. Even if I do 5B, I'll get hit. So, what I need to do is I need to do my own disjoint to hit him at where his hurt box is. If you do the same block string and you press 5S instead, you punish him. See? You will punish him. So it's very, very important to know that. Now, I'm going to give you 2 combos before awakening that you guys should be doing. So for example, if I land with a 2A or 5A, that should be the combo that you do off of a light. Here is another combo. So it could be off of dive kick or 6S, right? So something like this. Now, you can get a combo with your mediums, but they kind of vary. And usually it's off of straight hit confirms. I'm going to show you like one of those, and I'll show more of that in my second video. That's a combo you can do off of a medium. This could be off of 5B or 2B from mid-screen to corner. The thing about this is 2B knocks them up, so you have to do this combo. 5B, you're given a little more leeway. Awakening. I'm going to explain Awakening. It's nothing complicated compared to everything else I've talked about in this video. She probably has one of the better Awakenings in the game. Not the best, but one of the best. When her health reaches 30%, she enters Awakening. Her Awakening, it buffs her damage output, but it also buffs her base minimum damage. 1-inch punch. 150, right? In Awakening, it's 165. If you look at the guard bar damage, that's how much. So if we look here, that's how much it kind of does outside of Awakening. See, it does a little more. You could tell. It's a small pixel, but it does a little more. Swiftmaster and Enchantress are the 2 characters that are tied for the lowest health in the game as of this patch. She does 980. So she's killing everybody up to Inquisitor. Mid-screen or in corner, she should be TODing 900 to 950 health characters. If you're an Awakening, the next hit should be killing your opponent. It doesn't matter. You might not kill Crusader or Grappler, but you should be killing characters under 1000 HP in this patch. In Awakening, her guard bar damage increases, white life damage increases. At 900 health, she can guard break people in Awakening. But it's very situational, right? I have to land 2 jabs after my dive kick. I can't guard break otherwise. So this is only going to apply to the characters with the lowest amount of health in the game. Everybody else, you can't guard break. You can't guard break from full health. Instead of going for a full damage combo against characters even like Crusader, you see how he's building mana while I'm doing this combo, right? I'm not going to kill him. He's not dead off of this. He's not dead off of this. Even though that does 903, he's not dead. You see that? Because he has more than 900 health. He has the highest health in the game. Instead, you want to do a simple combo and reset. He's dead now. He's actually dead. He's dead before he can even guard cancel. The combo doesn't even have to be optimal. He's dead before he can even guard cancel. You want to make them spend their meter while you are in Awakening so they cannot guard cancel while you're doing your block string. So you have to manage their mana. You have to manage their resources. It's very, very important to do this because this usually lets you come back. That's why. So, no, it is not a full guard break block string on higher health characters. You actually have to, like, manage resource. Even after 1 year, she's still a very strong character overall. I do think that there are matchups now that you will have to worry about, but I will save that for another video talking about Striker's matchups. If you like playing neutral, like footsies, she's actually a really strong character in this game because she can play footsies effectively in a grounded game. This is not like Guilty Gear Strive or Melty Blood. There are no air dashes. It's all about anti-airing your opponent, keeping them grounded with Striker, punishing what they try to press, even if they have half-screen buttons, and getting rewarded for it. And you could dive kick as well, but the idea and premise here is that Striker is very good at playing footsies, and she gets rewarded greatly for playing footsies, and she has ways to checkmate the opponent in Awakening, and she has ways of making like she can make it hurt when she touches you and punishes you. In future videos, I will upload a combo video just going over more nuanced combos. That's not going to really have explanations. It's just going to have a list of combos that you could look at. I'm also going to upload the matchup video in a later date. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Y'all be easy.